Hello everybody, welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Oana.
So today we're going to do a market update for the Las Vegas real estate market for November of 2021. We've been doing these every month. We do them every month. You can go back and see all our previous months. We're going to start by jumping into the slides. So here's the first slide. This is the market action index. This is just sort of an index. The cool thing about this is it tells you whether it's a buyer's market or seller's market, and then it shows the number. And the number we're at for right now is where we were a month ago, which is 60 for houses. Right. So that's it's still a seller's market, and it's a strong seller's market.
Right, so the market hasn't changed dramatically, which we didn't expect it to.
Yep.
Which does not sound very exciting. I know that's not why you're watching, but it is what it is. The market's pretty steady.
And what it's not doing is crashing or declining or something. And we're going to get to more because we got better slides that have some more specific data that you'll like. Stuff we track every month. I wanted to do this one too, condos. You can see it looks very similar. Instead of a 60, it's like a little over 70, about the same as last month. The condo market's a little hotter because of the price point.
Right.
So the median price is about $233 for a condo. It's almost, 500,000, high 400,000s for a house. So why would it be hotter market?
Right.
Condos?
So here's what's interesting. Condos are not generally in Las Vegas a hotter market, but they are right now, like you said, because the entry point is lower. The reason why they're generally not that hot is because by the time you calculate your mortgage payment plus your HOA fees, because remember, condos have higher HOA fees usually than a regular single-family home.
Quite a bit.
Then that monthly cost, by the time you combine the mortgage payment and that higher HOA fee, usually would put you into a single-family home. But because the price of single-family homes has gone up so much over the last couple years, now condos are becoming an attractive entry point for people who have simply been priced out of single-family homes.
So it used to be in Las Vegas, the entry point was a single-family house. You could always get in a single-family house. And condos were something that if you wanted a condo, you could do it. But we have a market with mostly single-family homes. So there's 400,000 residential units in Southern Nevada, condos and homes. And homes are the ones that everybody talks about. And they're probably the numbers you always see. But we wanted to put this in here so you could see that it's a little hotter in the condo market because of the lower price point and you have more people.
Right.
Okay. All right. So here's the first slide that has something very interesting. Inventory. You can see the amount of inventory right now is under 3,000. Now this is a 3-year chart. So even though it's a little higher than it was a few months ago, it's still, over the last 3 years, it's really low. And it's also really low for this time of year.
It is. So it's kind of on par with where it was at the beginning of this year. And we know what happened at the beginning of this year. Inventory and demand were diametrically opposed.
Yeah, there was super high demand. There was super low amount of inventory, and that was pushing prices up. So we're going to jump on to the next. So inventory is low. And remember, I told you this before. Rapidly rising inventory is going to be the first thing that causes a bubble or price decline. And it's going to probably have to get over 15,000 before that happens. Because remember, 15,000 is still not many when you consider we have 400,000 units that are out there. So let's go to the next one, price per square foot. Now this is a little misleading because if you look all the way to the left and you see it's really low and you look to the right, it's really high, it looks like prices have quadrupled. And they haven't. That's because the bottom of this starts at $160 a foot, and then it goes up to $240. So if this chart went from 0 all the way to $240, it would just be a slight increase, but it's increase. But it's not that bad, right? So it's strong price appreciation, but it's not ridiculous.
Right.
It's not what we had in 2004 and 5.
No, it's not.
Where prices literally doubled. They doubled.
Right.
In 2 years.
Well, I mean, our prices have certainly gone up a lot over the last couple of years, but not at the rapid acceleration that we saw at that point.
Right. Okay. The next thing is median list price. This is sort of forward looking, and you can see it's still really high. It's still increasing. Sometimes this moves month over month a little because if more homes of lower value come on the market, it looks like the prices are dropping, but they're not. It's just more median list price or more lower list price homes are coming on the market, but it's still strong. It's actually up from last month. So either one of two things are happening. Either people are getting a little pretty brave with their price, trying to get a little higher, or there's just some more expensive homes coming on the market. It's also possible that the lower end homes are being bought off market. But then again, this is not MLS data. This is from Altos Research, so it should be all market data.
Well, it's also based on homes that have actually sold. So that does make a difference as to what the market's telling us with these numbers.
Right. Yeah. Okay. The next thing we did here is I pulled up a real-time market profile. This is something that is very cool. There's some stuff on here. We're going to go through these. It's all the stuff on the right. I'll leave it up on the screen so while you're listening to us, you can look at this stuff. Median list price, $519. This would have been unheard of 10 years ago. Because 10 years ago, a $300,000 house, a listing, was in the top 10% of the listings in the MLS. So the fact that the median means half of the list prices out there are above $500,000 now. When you go to the one below it and it says median price new listings $430, you're probably thinking, oh, these are the low homes, low end, the market's tanking, but that's not true. It's because the lower end ones sell and then another one comes back on the market quicker, and the higher list price homes tend to stay on the market a little longer.
Right, because remember, not everybody can afford the higher priced homes, so there are more buyers for homes that are on the lower end than there are homes that are on the upper end, and that works with everything in any market, right?
Yeah. Price per square foot, $238. You saw that on the one chart. There's average days on the market, but we don't really care about that. It can be skewed greatly because of homes that sell on the market a long time, because somebody has an unrealistic list price maybe, or it's a really high-end home, and it can really skew the number. But what we care about is median days on the market, 28. That means half the houses on the market sold in 28 days or less. That's for like this time of year, the fall, that's crazy fast.
Right, it is. Because remember, in the fall, we've talked about before, kind of the peak of the market is the beginning of the summer, and then by the time we get to midsummer, the market has leveled off, and we get to August and it starts to decline, because as we go into the fall, there are less buyers, less sellers, so the market moves a little bit slower. But in this case, we're still looking at less than 30 days on the market for all these homes, and that is very fascinating to watch this time of year.
You have price decreases and price increases. This is pretty normal because people tend to want to list high and then they do a couple price reductions and it sells. But only 32% had a price decrease. That means that 68% of the time when the home went on the market, it got an offer and sold without a price change, which is really, really unusual.
Right, it is. So that's either a credit to the agents that have helped and guided their sellers to choose a price that will get a buyer, or it is just this hot market that is just moving properties really fast.
Now, Oana, what would cause a 7% price increases? Why would someone increase their list price?
So that's a great question. Usually the reason why someone's increasing their list price is because they've had an inordinate amount of interest in the house. So maybe they've had 30 offers or a lot of calls very quickly on the property, and so they have rethought their position on the market.
Okay. Inventory, $2,390. That's the highest I've ever seen is $26,000. That was when the market basically blew up a long time ago, 15 years ago, 2006. $2,390 historically, $7,000 to $9,000 is probably a healthy market. That's right. Where you have some choice as a buyer. You can look at 3 houses and basically pick which one you want. Homes sit on the market for 4 months maybe. And we have a quarter of that. Homes are sitting on the market for a month, pretty much, less than a month.
Which, obviously if you're a seller, that's great, because now you don't have to show your home for that long. You don't have to keep it clean and together for that long, and you can get on with your life. If you're a buyer, it just makes it more of a challenge, because by the time you've seen 8 homes, 6 of them already have accepted offers.
Yeah, right, exactly. The next one on here, median rent, $2,135. Oana, you know a lot about rentals. You were like the rental queen. So tell me about that, and it's going up. Like you can see, the little thing has kind of been stair-stepping, climbing.
It is. So, look, rental rates have gone up, so almost on par with home values, because as the cost of homes goes up for investors to purchase, then they're going to pass on that cost to tenants. And that's a good part of what's going on. The other part is, of course, a lot of homeowners or investors have looked at this market and said, hey, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and sell while the getting is good, and take my money and run. But when they do that, that means that a lot of times they'll go ahead and give their tenant, particularly if that tenant is a month-to-month tenant, or if that lease is coming to an end, they'll give that tenant notice to go ahead and move out so that they can sell to an owner-occupant. Because remember, if you have a rental property and you have an existing lease, the purchaser will have to honor that lease. But if that property is vacant, now that purchaser does not have to honor a lease, and now that purchaser can be an owner-occupant. So that means that all of a sudden you have access to a lot more buyers, which makes your property more desirable, and hopefully it'll sell for more money.
Now we're going to do a whole video on the process of selling your house if you have a tenant in it, your investment property, and the benefits and the disadvantages and everything. Okay, what is your overall prediction, say for the next 6 to 12 months, with what you see going on with rents, with the inventory, like forward-looking stuff? People, the stuff that they don't see in a statistic, like, the nuanced things.
So I'm going to take out my crystal ball now.
Crystal ball?
No. So look, like we've been talking about this all year long. The market is just going to keep doing a lot of what it's been doing, just not at such a spectacular rate. I don't think that home values are going to go down. I think that home values are going to stay pretty consistent. I'm not expecting that they're going to continue to rise at the rate that they were rising earlier this year. I think they're going to be slow and steady. I think that come springtime, we're going to see prices go up again, because that's what happens. I think it's going to be a normal market. I don't expect anything extremely volatile one way or another.
We're going to do a video about notice of defaults and notice of trustee sales.
Okay,
this is going to be a really good video. It's going to be a lot of great data. And the only way you're going to see it is to subscribe.
Okay.
Because that you'll forget to come back to the channel. So you have to subscribe. So go ahead and do that now. And then it'll probably come out in about 4 or 5 days from this video coming out. And we're going to go through all the numbers. We're going to show you all the numbers, all the notice of trustee, notice of default. And you'll be able to get a really clear picture of what these are really, really, really the leading indicators of if the market's going to collapse or if there's a bubble or whatever. This is the foreclosures. This is stuff everybody's talking about. This is like literally the 3 to 6 month looking ahead of the market.
Right.
And we've got really good data here, and you're going to see it in 3 or 4 days, but you're going to have to subscribe to the video to watch it all.
So last but not least, I know you guys have heard me talk about this as far as the new home builders, and that they are a good indicator of what's coming. New home builders are still very strong. They still are selling lots of homes. They don't have a lot of standing inventory. They have a very small amount, which is different than what was going on about 6 months ago, where they did not have any standing inventory. But they do not have tremendous amounts of standing inventory. What they need is land on which to build. So that's the hurdle that they've been facing for the last couple of years here in Las Vegas, is not enough land on which to build. Home prices for new homes are still increasing. Home builders here are not offering really any major incentives to either buyers or agents. So that tells us that the new home market is still really strong.
Yep. All right. This is our market update for November of 2021. If you liked the video, share it with all your friends, leave us a comment, subscribe, and what else?
Hit the notification bell, and we'll see you on the next video.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.